All right, all right, all right. Welcome back to my legally blind journey, video number 16. And had some pretty cool stuff going on from the last time. I went and tried out some of the O&M skills. Had a interesting interaction with my airline situation, and have been trying some different things out to see, where my limitations are, and how to push past ones that I can safely. Without any further ado, jump right in here. So one of the interesting things, and you just don't think about it really, when I was fully sighted, was I was on an airplane, and the stewardess, and normally they're really, really nice. This one, I don't know, maybe having a bad day, I don't know, but she she had reached up, and I didn't know this. She was off to my side. I can't see to my side. So apparently she had reached up and to the bin above my head, grabbed the bag. I was sitting back in about the middle of the plane, grabbed the bag, my backpack, and was going to apparently move it to somewhere else on the plane, unbeknownst to me. Didn't say a word. But when she did reach up to get the bag, as it came down, it hit me in the head. And so I was, obviously startled and turned my head and I said, excuse me? And so to that, she replied, backpacks can't be on this side of the plane. I'm moving it, as she's walking away from me. And I still really haven't been able to make her out so well, or what she had in her hand, but obviously extrapolation. And I went, ma'am, excuse me, ma'am, backpacks can't be on that side of the plane. And she's steadily walking away from me towards the front of the plane. And I said, ma'am, I need to speak with you. And at that point, she turned around. I couldn't see her or make her out, but I can only imagine by the speed at which she turned around, she wasn't going to say anything good. At that point, she saw, I'm sure, I mean, I couldn't see her, but I'm sure she saw the fact that, I had on my low vision shirt and my legally blindness hat, because I was sitting in the seat. So, my cane she wouldn't see, obviously, at that point. And she very quickly changed her tone. I'm sorry. I understand now. And so she starts walking back towards me. And I said, ma'am, is that my backpack? She goes, sir, I understand now. I'm putting it back where it was. It'll be right where it was. And then she did so and she left. And it really made me realize that, I'd never thought about that. I worry about, getting on the plane. And then I worry about getting off the plane if I don't sit where I normally sit. I have a very specific row and a very specific seat. And this time I wasn't in that spot. But I never had thought about to worry about whether my luggage would simply disappear like Harry Potter waved a wand, and I go to get up at the end of a flight and reach up, and it's not where I left it, and me not be able to find it. And so, it's definitely a reassurance as to why I sit in a very specific spot on a plane. And there's a lot of moving parts to travel. And that's one that I hadn't thought of. And I will say I didn't have a choice on that particular flight. But, it's one of those things that in the future, if I ever have a situation where I literally don't have a choice, I'm going to have to be very, very mindful of that possibility. So just one of those things you got to think about when you're visually impaired or blind, what phraseology you like to use. And it's not something you had to think about before. So that was interesting. But at any rate, life is life. Keep smiling, keep rolling. I did try some things out after having gained a bunch of skill sets at O&M school. And this was really, really cool. So if somebody's out there listening and you haven't been in O&M school, there's plenty of them out there. If you're legally blind, you qualify. That's pretty much what it is. You do have some physical requirements. You have to be able to walk a certain amount of time without resting, or things like that. That said, I went to Leader Dog for the Blind out of Michigan. They're pretty much the largest one in the world. They are fabulous, and their training program is awesome in every way. So coming back from that, hey, I wanted to try some things out. So I went to a festival, which is the top three pictures on the screen there. I went to a street festival, which, for being legally blind, it is an obstacle course, man. But the cane did its job. It did very well. I didn't, reach out and like pick things up and hold them and stuff like that. I ain't trying to break everybody's stuff. Let my spouse and do that. But it was a very good experience. It was lightly crowded, I would say, but with a ton of obstacles as well. And the training at O&M made that an experience that I could do and I could have some enjoyment in. Not something that I'm avoiding now. I was avoiding that type of thing after I lost my functional vision, my visual acuity, I should say. So now with about 15 inches of functional vision, 14, 15, depends on how hard I strain my eyes throughout the day. Yes, I should take a lot more breaks than I do. I'm really bad about that. So it really depends on, how self-aware I was through the day, but I'll be around 14 or 15 inches of functional vision, meaning if it's the right size lettering, I'll be able to read it, and things like that. That said, with mine, the way it is, and it'll change over time, I'm sure. Well, I'm not sure of anything, I guess, but I've accepted it will, and I'm okay with that. With mine, basically, where mine stands right now is, you want me to read something and it's got to be larger lettering, but 14, 15 inches, I got you. I still work, all that fun stuff, which is awesome. If you want me to think out who you are, probably 4 feet-ish. If I got a male and a female standing side by side, I can still see enough of the featuring to know who they are roughly. And I say roughly because there's times where that's tough at that distance, but roughly. You go out about 8 feet from me, same male, female. I'm going to be able to tell they're male and female because I can get the larger details, like maybe the longer hair of a female. Granted, you never know. I mean, I get it, but it's a best guess. The stature, the height, and all those things. I can best guess which one's male and female. But if they both committed a crime, they're both free and clear because I can't pick you out of a lineup. Like, I don't know their names. I don't know who they are. You go out a little further, and I can tell they're both humans. They can't, they're not pine trees. You get far enough out, and, everybody's a pine tree, and everything's a pine tree. Even a pine tree is a pine tree. So it depends on kind of where things are at. Now, if something's off to the side, I can't see, I don't know if you can see my hands, but I can't see them. I don't know where they're at right now. So, stuff like that. You can do most things. You just have to do them differently. So at any rate, and proof of concept of that, in the bottom left there, tried out a concert for the very, very first time. This was the Luke Bryant farm tour. And as evidence in the name, it's a farm tour. So you're literally out in the middle of a cornfield, and it's an active field. So they had, cut the corn not too long ago. So there's couple-inch corn stalks, obstructions like everywhere. And I was using my cane for that to get up to the concert. It was slow going. I did trip a few times, several that I missed in the detection sweeps, but I caught a lot of them in the detection sweeps. It was awesome. Before O&M, I definitely wouldn't have. When I was in line, there was 20,000 people there. When I was in line to actually go in, I modified the sweep to essentially be like a pendulum arc right in front of me, like a grandfather clock. Ding, ding, ding. And so I was able to pick the ones up as we were kind of foot shuffling forward. and not fall into the crowd. So that was good. Now, one of the things that I'll say that was of interest, I guess is the way I would put it, was when the concert was going. It was, and listen, this is my first one. It's probably my last one. No offense to Luke Bryant and his guys and all that. They did good. The issue is for me. My ears have always been sensitive. I can always hear a lot better than I could see. And I don't know if they're more sensitive or equally so, but even with earplugs in, whoo, buddy, that was rough. That was way too loud for me. Then also, something I did not expect was there was a severe light sensitivity to there were strobe lights going off and stuff like that. And man, I had my sunglasses on, which normally that helps at like a grocery store where you get the reflections off of things. It really helps a lot. But I think it was just maybe they were so intense. I don't know. But I ended up literally putting a scarf over my a handkerchief, folded several times over my eyes, and then the sunglasses on top of that and my eyes were closed, by the way, to get to where those strobes just were not giving me massive, massive pain. So, I'm sure, fairly confident every conference, listen to me, every concert has a ton of flashing lights and strobes and things. So that's probably not my cup of tea for that reason. But was I able to get out there? Yes. Was I able to navigate the corn stalks? Yes. It was exhausting. Absolutely. It wasn't like when I was sighted, but I was able to do it. It's really cool. Glad I did it. Really glad that the O&M training worked there. And then going across the bottom, that's a tractor. Yeah, I was digging a hole. And before you say anything, very simply put, remember, depends on where you're at in this spectrum, and it's a spectrum. If you are completely light dark, meaning you can't see, you have no visual acuity, no, you would not probably sit on the back of a tractor and dig a hole. With mine is up to 15 inches roughly. I can see to read if it's big enough letters. It's got to be bigger letters. And then beyond that, it's varying degrees of fuzzy and loss. I can't see off the sides at all. So with mine, I still run my little tractor. It's very different than what it was when I was in my 20s. In my 20s, I had tractors. I zoomed around, full throttle the whole. That is not what it is now. Again, doing it differently through vision loss. I have that thing set on pretty much permanently low gear. In fact, I've never taken it out of low gear. I don't even know what the fast would do. So I go really slow. My property is a significant number of acres. So there's no kids at play. There's no small animals at play. It's myself and my spouse out there. And my spouse knows to stay well, good, and clear because I'm not going to be able to see where she's at on my sides and whatnot. Do I bump into a few pine trees here and there when I'm making a turn and I forget to turn my head really well? Yeah. Sometimes I do forget that I'm not seeing anything. That doesn't mean it's not there. I probably forgot to turn my head. Is it the big deal that I bumped into a pine tree with the bucket of a tractor? No, because I'm going super slow and it's a tractor and a pine tree. There are challenges that are there that weren't there when I had full vision. Like, for instance, in that picture, I was trying to dig a hole for a mailbox, and I intended to go down 1 foot. When I thought I was at 1 foot, it was actually at 3 feet. So that's a challenge, and it took me a little longer to do it because I had to fill dirt back in and repack and do all these things. But you know what? I got it done. So will there be a time that I wouldn't be able to move that tractor on my own? It's possible. Everybody's different. Everybody's journey is different. I may be able to, for the rest of my life, very carefully and bump into a couple of little things here and there. But, taking it very, very slow and paying really, really close attention to absolutely everything, which is kind of exhausting, but it can be done. There may be a point in my life where I don't have enough vision to even do that, but we'll see. So for now, I'm going to take advantage of the things that I can do, and that's one of my fun things to do. So a lot of people are surprised to learn that, I'm blind, but yet I do still operate a small tractor. Working on a little small farm I'm working on. Yeah, pine trees don't have words on them. The day that I have to read every pine tree, I'm hosed. But as long as the pine trees don't mind me bumping into them every now and again, and the tractor doesn't mind while I'm on low and slow, I think we can all get along. So anyway, beyond that, I got some pretty cool stuff coming up. I'm going to be able to talk about. The last conference that I went to was prior to O&M school. I was using a cane, but I was self-taught. It was a pretty limited experience in that respects. Don't get me wrong, did a lot there. Really pushed myself, but didn't know what I know now. So I'm going to be doing a conference. By the time you see this video, I'll be doing a conference, and it's going to be big city, but this will be after O&M, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what the difference in the experience is for myself as to mobility and orientation at the property, as well as a little bit of off-site stuff. Really working the skills that the school has given me, and I'm excited for that. I've taken a few off-site meetings that I wouldn't take before the O&M school, and hey, here's to it. Hoping permadeath Frogger works out really well. I'm sure it will, and just think it'll be exciting and cool to talk about that on our next one. So until then, y'all be good out there. Peace out, Girl Scout.